Every time I try to create a class, I basically start, but everything will freeze. The same thing I'm going to try to see. The beginning,
Hey, Valdora? Okay, great.
It's the same thing, but just you could
But it's impossible to cut copper?
No, this which one?
Ah, yes,
No, this is too fine. Too thin. Oh, how did this go?
Black vinyl. No. But John didn't bring the new vinyl cutter.
He did.
Ah.
That's a vinyl now.
Do we have black? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think we have everything but black.
I think so. We have everything. No. So we have these two.
Okay, should we start? Okay, can you close the door? Okay, so yeah, FabAcademy 2016, week 5, 3D printing and scanning. Any questions on the class so far? Like you really have to take notes on stuff you don't understand. I don't believe that you understood everything that Nick said. But if you don't ask, nothing I can do. Yeah?
He said something about
most events. Oh, I didn't pay attention on this one. And did you write down the time?
It was the last one.
Ah, it's the how's it called? It's the what? No, don't call me now. Come on. Sorry, I have to. Carsten. How was it called? Somebody remembers the name? I think it's in the links. No, it's not Formlabs. It's FabAcademy. Electron 3D scanning and printing. I think he was talking about software, not Geomagic, not Slam. Oh, come on. Light stages? No, this is yet another one. There's one that has like a name of a person, like Paul or something. I think some of you had the page open, no? No, this one is very interesting, but it's a guy. What's his name? He used to make. Let me see. Kinect. Whiteboard. Is it this one? No. Videos. Interactive whiteboard. Ah, no, not Kinect, but Weave. So maybe, I don't know, if you don't know this guy, have a look. He's quite amazing. Ever starts? So his name is Johnny Lee.
My name is Johnny Lee, and I'm going to show you how to create a cheap,
Oh, sorry. Like, if you don't know this video, have a look. It's really amazing. Yes?
Huh? Oh, okay. I do that.
Tu appuies sur le menu.
Ouais.
Project Tango, was it this one? Light stages. Ah, okay. So what Paul de Bebeck is doing is quite amazing. He was also one of the first ones that coined the term image, high dynamic range imagery, HDRI. And what he does is that he creates spherical panoramas of the world around you. And now they build something that does the same thing but the other way around. So it takes, instead of having many light sources, which is like our sky or our surrounding, he puts a camera in each of those pixels. And he can light the scene with different colors. So, so you can get what's called a normal map. So for example, you can say, I just want red light from one side and green light from the other and blue light from front. And then by the, let's say you have a little wrinkle, and so the top of your wrinkle would only reflect blue light, and the right side only red light. So you not only get information about the different angles, but also about how each point in the surface reflects the light. So you can generate quite a lot of information, and they do scans where you can see each pore in a face. Yeah, that's this one, no? Can you see on the left side, you can see the texture?
Also see that it's kind of see that scan the president.
Could be, yeah.
I know that President Obama was the first president to be 3D printed.
Ah, okay.
Normally you have to do the sculpture.
Yeah.
And it's engraved by hand, but he was the first 3D printed.
Okay, I think there's one that he hasn't mentioned, which is let me see if I find this one quickly. It's an English group. The project is open source, and it's a camera array. And they're called maybe I take open source away. Oh, I'm badly prepared. I should have this one. So it's a company, and they do scans with camera arrays. Yeah, this is the picture, and they're called. Or maybe you can just take. Oh no, actually it was the first one, no? No. Yeah, that's it's IRLTDnet. So this is the group. Just a second. Ah, yeah, okay. Daniel was faster than me. He found it already. So they're putting up maybe 60 good cameras that are all networked, and they just take one picture and they assemble it to a 3D model. They're using a Russian software, and I think Daniel also knows how those are called. But it's a commercial software. You have to pay for it. I think there's a demo version that is free to use. But yeah, you need like 60 cameras, so it's not so cheap. Ah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of labs that are using the same. Ah, yeah. Agisoft is the software. The first one I saw it was in the makerspace in Beijing, and they made some amazing scans of us. We were proud to be the first ones that were first Europeans to be scanned there, and it takes 6 to 20 hours for processing the scan, depending on the resolution. But it's amazing. Like the level of detail is really nice. So this is the photo scan. But yeah, you don't have 60 cameras, so we have to find some other ways. But if you look at the website, and if you're not scared by seeing some naked people, then have a look at this website. And they are the best ones I know so far. And there's some nice animations. You can, once you have the scan made, you can put it into a game engine, and you can light it in real time and move around in it. It's quite impressive. Also, if you look at the level of detail, oh, right. So that's a scan, and look, this is like the hairs on your eye, like the eyelashes. This is, well, I don't know to what degree this is post-processed, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's real. Ah, well, of course you can take 60 photos with one camera, but it's not, yeah, you have to keep still until you take photos, until you take 60 photos. But yeah, this is another interesting one. And any more questions on the class?
Well, that's the DXF thing.
Ah, the DXF thing,
You
yeah.
mentioned before that you.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before, that DXF is a format that is kind of open, but the specification is 600 pages long, or maybe 300, but it's quite long. And most people that implement DXF only read like the first 30 pages, and then most DXF implementations miss something. And finally, each one misses something different. So for example, for Katya, like a 20,000 euro program, you can buy a DXF importer, but it has native DXF import. So you would think, like, why would I pay 20,000 euros for a software that has DXF support and then pay another 2,000 euro for buying a plugin for DXF support? It's because DXF is not equal to DXF. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The most frequent example is when you make your design in Inkscape, everything's nice and joined and closed, you send it to the laser, and it appears all separate lines. So you have to join it again on the laser, if not your laser will just go crazy tracks. It happily ignores the line thicknesses. Then it also has some problems with, sometimes it triangulates circles, if you want it or not. So normally you have a circle that is nice and round, and when you export it as DXF, sometimes it makes it to a polygon, like what we do when we use in Inkscape the function of flattened Beziers. It just does this for you if you want it or not. And there's lots of things like this happening, which makes DXF kind of usable for simple stuff, but as soon as you really want all your layers and all your information in there, you can never bet on it. It's like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to try all the 10 different versions of DXF. Mostly it works best with the older versions, but then DXF also has lots of stuff that you can have fonts inside, you can have objects, and actually it supports a lot of stuff that nobody implements. So even though you might export a perfect DXF, doesn't mean that you can import it anywhere. So yeah, so DXF is what Neil says. Try to avoid it. If you can go to an open format like SVG, go for that. And yeah, only thing worse than DXF is DWG. Yeah. DWG is completely closed, and it's the same mystery of nobody knows what actually is written in there. From experience, I can tell that it has polygons, it has nerves, it has material information embedded, it has textures embedded, it has everything sometimes. And there's so many different versions of DWG that even AutoCAD themselves have no idea of which one does. And they don't say anything about it. So the DWG is just considered a completely closed Autodesk format that is not usable for anybody outside of. Well, there is some programs that read DWG. For example, the Draft Site, the 2D program that I recommend you, happily opens DWGs, and it comes with all the layers and all the additional information, which is good, but you can't really rely on the fact that one program that reads DWG will interpret it in the same way than any other. Okay, so let's organize our week a little bit. Yeah? No, this is the RTEC scanner. It's 15,000 euros. So, no. Huh? I don't know. I'm sure if you search for it, there might be some service. Friends of mine bought this one in Lisbon. They started a business making these mini-me's. And they thought, yeah, no, we have the best 3D scanner and whatever. But they didn't check if it can scan hair before. So then at some point they realized, oh no. Even with a 15,000 euro scanner, you can scan hair. It doesn't work. It's a crappy mess. So even the really expensive scanners are still not doing stuff like scanning a person, just like this. Scanning is a very, like, whoops, let's see. Okay, so Daniel says RTEC is nice, but very low in processing. So it's slow. Like, even if you have the Artex scanner, you won't do one model in one go, but you make like 10 patches, and then you have to see how you put the patches together. The software that comes with the scanner is quite good, so you just define 3 points on each of your meshes, and it will try to align them and merge them, and it does a quite good job at this. Okay, so Artex Spider is another scanner, which is nice for tiny parts. That's what Daniel says. And the Artec Eva is okay for persons, which is the one that you're having open. It's okay for persons that have rather my hair than yours. Yeah, so scanners, they don't like all kinds of stuff. They don't like reflections, they don't like shiny bits. So if you painted yourself in gray, completely diffuse, then it would scan perfectly. Yeah, but the easier part is you just put on like you know, those hats for the swimming pool, and then you scan, and then you just 3D model some hair. Yeah, the merging is sometimes very creepy. So yeah, if you merge the wrong parts, I guess it's rather spooky than realistic. Okay, so I scheduled a Blender class for tomorrow, and I would like to give you like a short intro, just so you know how to navigate in the program. It's going to be quite quick. And then I think I'm going to directly dive into repairing a 3D scan. But for repairing a 3D scan, we should have a 3D scan. So I would propose that in the morning we start playing with the Kinect. I was hoping that we can use the robotic arm and the circular platform so that somebody can stand on the robotic platform while the robotic arm has the Kinect attached and just slowly drives down while you are turning. This makes it a lot easier to scan like 20 people. But the robot arm is busy with other things, so we might have to invent something so we can move the Kinect up and down, and we like sit somebody on a chair and like pull in the swing. You can also do it just by hand. So if you look at
Ferdi, this is Guillaume from Baidora. Tomorrow morning, what is the time when you are going to start? Because I might come to IAC actually.
Yeah, I'm here starting from 10. Come whenever you want.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thanks.
So I'll have 2014. So just for a laugh, I'll show you the setup that we had in Lisbon. And I think it was Bruno. And this is 3D scanning, 3D scanning, 3D scanning. Where is it? Is it 9? Oh no, wait. Bruno makes, no, this is 3D scanning and printing. So I put like the Kinect and the computer and everything in a backpack, because you have to carry around a lot of stuff. So I look like the Ghostbusters. But this works quite well. So I guess this is kind of what we're doing tomorrow. But it might be easier to scan, to move the person instead of the Kinect. But the Kinect also works with an image recognition algorithm. So it looks at the way that the landscape behind you moves. And yeah, this makes it sometimes easier to walk around the person, because it will detect features in the background and recognize it as part of the scan. Okay, this was just here for a joke. Actually, we did some quite good scans. This is the Artex scanner, and this looks like this because the sculpture is actually like this. And this is what the results we got just by walking around to the Ghostbusters setup. And yeah, this is already 3D printing. And this is a nice example. This is the Menger sponge, if I'm not wrong. And this is something you can definitely not fabricate subtractively, because there's holes inside holes inside holes. It's called the Menger sponge, M-E-N-G-E-R. I think it's in OpenSCAD, it's one of the default models. I think it's the last example in OpenSCAD. Okay, so we have the choice. Either we, like I have two things in preparation. One is just a general blah blah for me about 3D printing. Like I think I held my first talk about 3D printing in 2001 at university. At this time, everybody was only talking about selective laser sintering and stereolithography. Since then, a lot of things changed, and if you want, I can just give you a little bit of history and explain the different 3D printing techniques. So this is one thing, and the other thing is a Blender course and how to fix the 3D models. So if we decide that tomorrow we just do some blah blah, and if you don't like it, you just go ahead and start scanning and building scanners and printing and modeling. And then we already have something on Friday for fixing it in Blender. Or we do it the other way around, we do the Blender course tomorrow. You can start scanning in the morning, so you already have the knowledge that you need for then doing your scan on after that or on Friday. Yeah. Yeah, I think the sooner the better, no? So let's start tomorrow in the morning with scanning, and then in the afternoon we do some Blender, and then yeah, we see what happens. Last year we did a few different techniques. So I would like to do the Kinect. I'm not sure. Somebody said we have a new Kinect. Did you? Yeah. Okay, great. So there's two models of the Kinect, I think, or even more. We have a license of the Scanect, which is a software for building a voxel model of what the Kinect is actually scanning. I can also tell you a bit about how this actually works, but let's make it short today, no? Yes, John is always complaining that I'm talking too much. Scanect. There's a few other open source programs. There's the one from the Kinect. I think it's from Microsoft. They also have it's a whole bunch of programs for the Kinect, and one of them is working very well as a 3D scanner, which is the free version. So the Scanect alternative. It doesn't give you a texture, or I still haven't figured out of how to save the texture from this one. But since our printers don't have texture anyway, we don't really care. And then we can use the Modella, this one. It's also a scanner. So you can scan objects, anything that fits onto this platform. And it's the best scanner we have. It never fails. It's using a little needle and a piezoelectric sensor for realizing when it touches something. So it kind of pokes the object in many, many spots. It only goes up and down, so or it only goes from one direction. So if you want to have a model that has undercuts, you have to turn it around and scan it from the other side again. You might have models that you have to scan them like 4 or 6 or 8 times until you get all the different features. It takes very long. So for example, if you scan something like this, and I'm holding up a measuring tape, on this machine with a 0.1 resolution, and 0.1 is already quite a good resolution, it will probably take you 20 hours. So we should take turns in like who's using this machine. But I will try to quickly install the software so we can already start scanning today. So we can run one through the night and one more during the day, and then the next day, and so on. It's yeah, it works very nicely, and it takes very long. And it needs some patience for adjusting it. Like if you look on my website, I was kind of successful with this one. So yeah, I scanned some keys. Actually, those are the keys for the Fab Lab, and I thought, hey, great. If I ever lose my keys, I print them. And actually, I did something stupid. This was not a good idea to put it on the plasticine because it's not flat. So I didn't know. I couldn't confirm that my keys are lying perfectly flat. So once you flip them on the other side, they might be a bit misaligned, and then you have to like make up for this in fixing the model. So first I had to remove all the wrinkles around it until I only had the key from one side. And then with the two keys, I do a Boolean union, and I got the two keys in very good quality. And this was just 0.3 millimeters resolution. And yeah, this was the first time we just mounted a Ultimaker. It was badly calibrated, so, but you can, I think you could print a usable key. And this one is this was for the opening of the tablet in Lisbon. As a demonstration, I went to the market next door and asked looking for something to scan, and I found this shell. We cooked it, smelled horrible. Whole lab was smelling of mussels. But doing two scans, one from top and one from the bottom, I managed to get a quite nice model of the shell. And keep your eyes open for little things that you can scan. I would recommend you. In Spain, in many supermarkets, they have these machines. On the way out, they have these big machines where you like get these plastic spheres with like little toys inside. Those are good. Also, go to the market. You can try to scan like raspberries and stuff like this. Don't look very exciting because either it takes ages for getting all the little details, or it just looks like a funny blob. Without texture, raspberries look very boring. But I'm sure you'll find more fruits and other things that are nice to scan. Last year we tried to scan romadur, like the broccoli, a type of broccoli that looks very fractal. Unfortunately, you have to bear in mind that in 20 hours, vegetables do get a bit like this. So at some point, the romadur was getting a bit weak, and so the scan changed while it was scanning. So yeah. Whatever you scan, it has to make it through the 20 hours. Maybe for giving you some more examples, I will have another look at the Portuguese group. So Delio, there we had the same problem. He decided to scan a leaf. So he did something very nice for the 3D modeling. So he had this mandala. You know those thingies? So his idea was to 3D print something like this. So he made a nice grasshopper definition that is parametric, so you can just move a slider and it changes the amounts of rings that it has. Unfortunately, the first print was not so successful because it broke somewhere on the way while taking off the support material. And so yeah, many times it's a good idea to print like a little test piece of the critical parts before you print like a 60-hour print that then fails. But it turned out really nice. And this was the leaf. And obviously the leaf, after 20 hours, did not look as good anymore. And yeah, so this is the way the machine works. It just touches the leaf in many, many different spots. If somebody's interested, like it would be amazing to turn one of those reprep printers into a 3D scanner. And I don't think the algorithm is probably difficult, but I'm sure you can find some algorithms that already exist. This would be something to make the whole Maker community happy, to have a 3D printing extension for the repreps. So you can see that it searches until it hits something that is high, and then it starts to go and touch all those little points. But this is what you get. So this is just a little detail. You can see that it has quite a lot of polygons. You can reduce them a little bit by using the tools, or the various tools that exist. And then we printed it in 3D, and it came out quite nicely and quite big. But this is quite interesting that you can do stuff that is very small. So you can take small stuff and just scale it up. And this is something that works very nicely with the Modella take something tiny, scan it, and then print it in big. I think it's a nice idea. Okay, and then we have another printing technique that last year everybody was laughing when it was about the milk scanner, but actually it gives quite good results. And I think I improved the technique. Also last year somebody built a milk scanner as a final project, a young boy from South America. And so the technique is that you fill a bucket with, for example, milk. I would rather go for something that is not food. I thought about trying, how's it called? It's gluten. You can buy gluten rice flour, which dissolves in water, and it makes a very milky white liquid. And we also want to reduce the surface tension, so we put a little bit of maybe biodegradable soap, and then we can just water the flowers with it, because it doesn't do any bad to anybody. And so this would be like I'll buy the gluten, and if somebody comes up with a better idea, something that is an opaque liquid that is maybe not milk, because I don't want to throw the milk away. So these were some tests with the photogrammetry. Milena wanted to scan her hand. And scanning her hand is not that easy, especially not if you don't have the patience for keeping it there 20 hours while a needle is poking you. So we tried all kinds of different techniques. At some point we made a clay copy, and we scanned the clay copy in the modeller. This also works very nicely. We have something that is called flex wax. It's a wax that is very low temperature, so you can just, while it's liquid, you can paint it, let's say, on your arm. Then you can cut it open and take out your hand, close it again, and cast cement or gypsum in there. And then you can take the gypsum hand and scan it. If you look at the page from Adolfo from last year, he made a piece where he was interested in this joint, from here to here. So we made a gypsum copy of his arm, but up to each little wrinkle, and scanned this one in the modeller, and it turned out really nice. So if you can't hold still for 20 hours, then just make a copy of whatever you want to scan. Or, yeah, like scanning little kids and animals is almost impossible. It's called flex wax. Yeah, if you want to see, we made a beautiful copy of a mouth. If you look for Alessandra, and I think this might already be in final project. Or let's have a look. Maybe it's in assignments. Oh, please. Whatever you do with your web page, give names to the weeks. Like this is really hard to identify now. What is what? I know it can't be 3, 4, 5. Yeah, for Alessandro, we did a little scan in the Kinect. That was a nice one. Then let's see 6. No. Okay, this takes too long. No, here's the idea with the mouth, and this is what she looked like. Can you see this? Yeah. So Santi was painting our Brazilian supermodel with wax, so she had to be quiet for a while. and then this is what we took off. You have to put some Vaseline so it doesn't like rip out your lips. And then we scanned this one in the modeller, and this gives you a very high resolution model. You can really see all the wrinkles in the lips. And if you mill this in big, like her first idea was to make a bookshelf that is a giant mouth that opens and closes. So this was the idea, to make a giant mouth. This is already the software for 3D milling this in wax. And this was actually her 3D milling assignment. And this is a quite good copy of her mouth. And I think, yeah, there were some problems with we forgot the demoldant. Oh, actually, did she make it? Oh yeah, she made it in there's a special molding material that is food compatible. So we made chocolate mouths and ice cream mouths. It's kind of fun. Yeah, I guess we're gonna do this. Everybody loves the chocolate things. So yeah. Yeah, this is the flex wax, like making molds for making the scan. Then the milk scanner. Have a look at the pages from last year. Final project milk scanner. I think I have a technique that works quite well. So we use a camera. Instead of taking lots of photos, we just film the whole thing. And then we use some command line tools for adjusting the contrast and kicking out a few images that we don't want. And then we can use the Fab modules for generating, we use GIMP for making an animated GIF of the sequence. And then we put this into Fab modules for generating a 3D model. And once you have 2, 3, 4 perspectives, you can join all of those to make a complete model. Last, yeah, like also look at like all these action figures, you know, like the comic book stores where they have like all the He-Man and all the little Lego pieces, or like now there's all kinds of action figures that you can buy. This is perfect for 3D scanning. And you also have the Kinderüberraschung, these little eggs that come with like little toys inside. Those are also great for scanning. It's quite challenging, but since they're so small, they scan quickly, but quickly, 5 hours. So yeah, so you get an idea. Yeah, so this is the scanning part. We have like 3, 4 different photometry softwares that allow you to take pictures around somebody or something, make a 3D model of it. We have the milk scanner, we have the Kinect, we have the Modella. Then we have the structured light scanner. Now we have 5 little Piccolo scanners, and they project an image onto something that you film at the same time with the camera. I think we can borrow Adam, no, how is it called? David? And there's a software that is supports the scanning technique. And there's also a program that Neil developed that kind of never was mentioned again. I will have a look if I find this one. Let's see how good it is. And did I forget any? I think this is kind of the scanning techniques we have. Then of course there's the there's a Spanish company that does telephones, but also 3D printers, and they're called BK. Come on. BK. The BK scanner, it's called Cyclop. It's open source. So if somebody's up for it, this would be something that you have to decide by yourself. Okay, I want one, I buy the material, and I do it. This is like bonus point. Build your own 3D scanner. It's just a few parts, so you could hit the 3D scanning and printing in one go. And it looks somewhat like this. It's very similar to the MakerBot scanner. MakerBot sold a 3D scanner that was a big flop. Nobody likes it. But I think those guys, they knew about the MakerBot scanner before they published this one. So hopefully this one is okay. I have a friend that built one. Maybe I will double check with him. But yeah, this is another technique. Then there's a processing sketch that works with a laser projector that projects a line and a processing sketch. Don't ask me what this is. Oh, this is a 3D. Oh. Yeah, this is already the assembly instructions. And apart from the processing sketch, we can also use the the program from FabLab Aachen. Have you heard of the FabScan? Yeah, so you have a platform that rotates, and I think 2 cameras and a line laser, and this way you can reconstruct a 3D model. Haven't tried it yet, but might be interesting. And the FabScan, I heard it came out in a new version. And yeah, yeah, it looks really nice. I really like it. Yeah, we built one last year, no, 3 years ago in Lisbon, but we bought the crappiest line laser you could get at the Chinese store. So the line was so wide that it didn't really focus well. So I think we have a line laser here that we might be able to borrow, and I just might get some USB cameras so we can deal with this. But this is the basic setup. You can build this in a day if you want. It's all laser cut, and it's only using 1 stepper motor and a little shield for the Arduino to rotate it. And yeah, it's a nice project. If somebody's up for building a 3D scanner, either the BK one or this one or any other one you come up with, I'm very happy to help. And I will, if you agree that it stays in the Fab Lab, we can buy things with money from the Fab Lab. And if you want to have one for yourself, you will have to buy the components as well. But if you're interested, talk to me, and we can start as soon as possible to build one. If if it takes longer than a week, it's not a big deal. But we should, if you decide to build a scanner, then prepare for a busy week. So it's not something you do in a day, but it's not something that's going to take you half a year. So it's an interesting opportunity, because now you have somebody pushing you a little bit. If you do it by yourself, it will take a lot longer, actually. This one is called FabScan. And it comes with a Linux Live CD that already has all the software installed. So all you need is a USB camera and a line laser. And if you want, you build the box with all the motors and stuff. We built one very simple one, just with a little motor. It was a very simple setup, but it took us 2 hours to set it up. So if you do it crappy, it can be faster. Doesn't matter. Yeah, stepper motors we have a lot. So, yeah. What we don't have a lot is cameras and line lasers. But I'll have a look. In the worst case, we just buy another webcam. Sorry?
What kind of laser is that?
It's a line laser. It projects a line. Yeah. Okay, and then just some organizatory stuff. Oh yeah, have a look at if you haven't seen this, have a look at MIT glass printer. Something's going bloop, which is look, this is Christoph. You remember Christoph from the class today? His website was mostly black, and he made some really cool programmers. Oh no! I don't even know where it's ringing. Oh. Okay. So I try again. Jonathan is invited. Let's see, try again. For some reason, half of the people get the invitation, the other half not. And I think I have Carsten as well. Oh, come on. Yeah, I saw this too late. Now it's almost over, but better than nothing. Okay. So now I lost track. What did I just say? 9 days? Yeah, this is very interesting. So one of the oldest techniques for 3D scanning is using a robotic arm that does not move, but you have to move it, but it knows exactly where it is. And and this is very nice because you can define the points that are interesting for you. So if you want to scan a box, you just have to touch the 4 corners, and you have the perfect model of the 8 corners. And then you have straight lines between them that have the right dimensions to get a very exact model. If you scan it with a Kinect, you get lots of polygons, and it's not very easy to use this for anything useful. Yeah, then you have to make many points. So once you click 3 times, you can make a little triangle. Then you click another 2 times, another time, you can have 2 triangles. And then you just keep growing in the direction that you want. And so you're generating a polygon model while you're scanning. And the more points you put, the more exact it gets. But many times you don't want the perfect resolution. You just want like the coarse dimensions. And maybe you want some more detail somewhere. And then you click a few more times there. So this is actually a very nice idea. We could even do it with the cardboard one, or we could start playing with the coders and try to figure out. It's not easy because it's 6 degrees of freedom, and you have to do the inverse kinematics for figuring out where exactly the end effector is. But it might be leading towards your final project, so we advance a little bit already. Yeah, maybe we just do it with just one axis, or maybe 2, and then we see how far we get. Okay, 3D printing, like the task is to print something that you can't manufacture in subtractive mode. Yeah, this is just a brain twister. Think of something that you can't mill, or you can't injection mold. There's a lot. The Mender sponge is just one of them, but yeah, I'm sure you come up with something interesting. Yeah, I think, well, interesting to see what you come up with. Like, it won't fail if it's actually millable, but nice to see if you understand what the point is. No, it's like some stuff you cannot mill it because it has undercuts or. Yeah. So yeah, once we get to 3D printing, I'm going to do another little introduction to all the printers. So we have 3 reprefs. We have another 3 little printer bots that, if everything goes well, you can have them here. Yeah. This would be great. Then we can really print a lot. Then we used to have a few maker bots, but I think now they're all disappeared. We have the Form 1, which is the resin-based printer. Then we have the big, what's it called? The 3D systems, the powder printer. Is it working? Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah. I will ask Martin. Probably you got to know Martin Seymour. He's the Fab manager here. He was one of the first 3 employees when they built this machine. So if somebody knows about 3D printing, then that's him. But he's not here for 2 days already. I will, as soon as I catch him, I will invite him to give us a little talk about 3D printing. And yeah, it's going to be super interesting. I would love to hear what he has to say about the printing technique. And oh yeah, if somebody's up for it, I'm probably going to go up to Valdaura on the weekend and build a big 3D printer. So 2 years ago, we decided to participate on the Maker Fair in Lisbon. And for the fun of it, we decided, oh, let's build a big 3D printer. And this is what came out. So we built this one in 6 weeks. Two friends of mine and me. I did all the modeling. Mauricio did all the buying stuff, and Alex helped me in like finding good design solutions. And it turned out not to be only quite beautiful and lightweight, but also it prints very well. So it's a cubic meter. It's like this times this times this. So if I go like this, I can print myself. But it's going to take a few days. Yeah. Printing? No, we have material. Yeah. If you don't want to like print a house, then you should have enough material for everybody. Try different materials. It's fun to play with the flexible materials. There's water-soluble materials. Yeah, if you. I think right now we don't have any tools. No, unfortunately. But you could. It's a reprep, so you could just add another printhead. So if you want, you can print us another printhead. I guess if you print all the parts, you can buy another nozzle, another hot end, and you have to check. I'm not sure if we have, or we should have another driver on the board, but this would be also a nice idea to just extend one of our 3D printers to do dual extrusion. You could, for example, do PVA on one and PLA on the other, and then you can dissolve the PVA, and you can do on those one on this one it's 85 by 85 by 85 centimeters, so it's really big. On the reprep Barcelona ones, it's I think 250 by 200 by 200, and yeah. 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 So don't try to find something that is not very big. Like, it's not. If you print something this size that is not millable, your assignment is done. It doesn't need to be huge. What I want you to learn is to design a model, go to the 3D printer, print it. I think I reserved those for us for the program. So we will see how happy the Yax people are about this. But I reserved the machines for us. So in the worst case, we can only use them after 3 o'clock. But I will fight for the night so we can leave the prints running overnight. Even if you have a print that runs for 10 hours, it's not a problem. You send it at night, and the next morning you come and this is what we should do most of the time. So no point in sitting here waiting for the print to finish. And yeah. Okay, this. So I ordered, and the pen drives we had last year disappeared. There were another 5, but I just ordered another 20. So starting from probably next week, I can make more Fabians, also updated so that you get all the newest versions. So for the ones that have problems with their Windows 8 or Windows 10, for programming, this might be an easy solution for getting a programming environment running. SolidWorks is, I think, slowly everybody has a running SolidWorks, apart from the license. But if your installation starts and everything goes well up to this point, then I'm positive that this will work with the licenses we have. So yeah, let's schedule a class for maybe for next week. Let's see how we do it. But starting from next week, it would be nice to have SolidWorks as a tool. And actually, who has the little pen right now? You. Okay. Another question: did somebody see my scissors? I have some little portable scissors. Yeah. Yeah. If you see them somewhere, it would be nice to have them back. And perfect. Thanks. And Oh yeah, maybe as a finishing one. So this is a video. I think it's mostly Markus Kaiser that made this printer, and it prints with molten glass. Wow! Look at the scan. Amazing. Daniel from Germany. Nice. No, some more. Yes, we have SolidWorks. I know that it takes a while for the licenses to arrive, but I think Carsten is already making some stress and trying to accelerate this a little bit. Andreas might try to get a license for the FabLab Munich, but I'm sure you guys also know how to find the torrent file for getting the other version. And this one I just showed for the beauty of it. If you haven't seen this one yet, have a look. And I think this is for the end. So at the Fab 11 in Boston, they had all of these in an exposition right at the entry, with each one having a little lamp over it, hanging on a long string. If you push the lamp a little bit, it would like move over the glass object and do all these crazy diffraction patterns. It's super beautiful. You probably know that we did some big 3D prints in clay here. There was somebody interested in this, no? Yeah? Did you talk to Sophocles about this recipe?
I talked to him, but not about the
Yeah. Ask for the recipe. We might try. I think we have the clay and all the ingredients. It's just about doing it. But it's not easy, and we have to get some free time on the robotic arm. But if I get the big printer in Valdosta working, we could also try and print clay with this one. So we have lots of options. You just have to tell me what you want to do, and I try my best to make it happen. And printing metal is more complicated, and actually nobody really like there's it's if you the problem with the metal is like the usual technique for printing metal is to use a metal powder and use selective laser sintering, but the selective laser sintering doesn't leave you a nice smooth surface. It's like a crystal. There's lots of little crystal edges sticking out. So the more advanced machines, they are a combination between 3D milling and selective laser sintering. So you just leave it the coarse texture where it doesn't matter, and in the parts where you need precision, you just after each layer there's a little milling head coming and it mills away so that it's a good surface. But those machines are like as expensive as our whole fab lab. The easier way for getting from a 3D model to something in metal is called nowadays people call it lost PLA casting. If you just Google for exactly this search term, you will find this page from 3D Topo. Maybe in Valdosta, maybe you saw it. I made something like this, and yeah, so we can do this. But we can also do this in the molding and casting week, because it's casting, no? So you make a 3D model, you embed it in some molding clay or some plaster. You put some foam for making the channels where the metal is going to rise in. You vacuum it so it doesn't have any bubbles. You burn away the plastic and the foam. and then you cast metal into it, and you get some metal pieces in the same shape than the original plastic pieces. It's lost PLA casting. If you Google for it, it's the first one. Yeah, I bought a 30-kilo bag of a material that is perfect for doing those casts. It's for jewelry, so you get a resolution that is incredible. You could, for example, once we took, instead of using a plastic part, we used a grasshopper. We found a big dead grasshopper, and we embedded it into the same powder. And we casted it in silver, and the resolution was so high that you could like see the hairs on the legs. You could see the hexagons on the eyes. So yeah, it's a quite interesting technique. It's called precision casting. Yeah. So he's using playground, just normal sand from a playground, and you can still see the texture from the 3D printer. With the material I have, you can get an even higher resolution. And you can make copies of things. You can also make, in the molding and casting, you could make a positive, from which we make a negative in silicone, and then you can cast positive pieces in wax. And then it's the same process, only that it's called lost wax casting, which is the standard way of doing jewelry and more complicated pieces in metal. Okay, that's it. So tomorrow at 10 we start playing with the Kinect, and afterwards we do a little Blender class. And yeah, think about if you want to build your own scanner, what you want to scan, and like be careful. A week is short, so if you don't have anything to scan tomorrow, then it's already Friday, and if you all come on Monday with like 20 models that you all want to scan, it's going to take till the Monday after to scan all of those. So if you want, you can make an Excel sheet where we organize who's using which machine at which time. But I think we're grown-ups and we can kind of figure out amongst us. And since there's like at least 5 different techniques you could use, maybe somebody starts with one technique and then leaves the other one for a bit later.
The size of the extruder are always the same, or
For our printers here, it's all of them. The FDMs are all 04.
Yeah, the small one are 05.
And the small ones 05. But this is nothing you have to be very concerned with. It's just about. Okay, any questions from Valdaura?
Can you hear me, Fadi?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for your words, much appreciated. On Sunday, over the weekend, we have 2 events here in Valdaura. One is from the Mobile World Congress, which will finish on Saturday. So I think Saturday the Valdaura will be more sort of closed. But on Sunday, we have a social agriculture event. I'm not sure if anyone's seen the posters up in the hallway. But please come. You're welcome to come. We can plant some vegetables. So any work that you do will be recorded, and then later on in the year you will be able to be paid back in calorific content, as in lettuces and beer. If you want to come to that on Sunday, then I'm just put into the chat window. Please just email social.agriculture@eac.net so that you can get some insurance. So when you get given a spade or somebody next to you gets given a pickaxe, you want to make sure that you've got some insurance, and that's the way to get it. I think there may be also the opportunity to have some kind of barbecue. I didn't say that out loud, but yeah, you'll be able to have a barbecue on Sunday, I think. So it should be an interesting time with Ferdi making the yard, which we'll be super excited about, as well as planting some vegetables at the same time.
Okay, great. Sounds amazing. So Sunday, planting plants, building 3D printers, and maybe a little barbecue. Yeah, we can organize of how we get up there. I guess we just meet at the metro Bogatel and walk up together. If you take a taxi with 4 persons, it's €5 each. It's normally like 20 euros. So if you manage to fill a taxi, I think the metro ticket is it's a bit cheaper, but you save yourself the walk. And yeah, but we can still organize this in more detail tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's it for the moment. Yeah?
How about using Connect? Because I've seen
Small things is almost impossible to connect. You have a minimal distance of maybe 20 or 30 centimeters, so you can't get really close, and yeah, and then it loses most of the detail. So anything with a Kinect should be at least like this size or a bit bigger. But for small stuff, the Modella is great. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, bye-bye to everybody in Valdaura and in Germany.
Bye. Thank you, Freddie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.